2021 is an entirely new chapter for Yes Theory. With Matt stepping away to focus on writing the first Yes Theory book and our newsletter, we feel like we've reached a whole new sense of alignment for our future. Our objective is to show people through stories and experiences that life's greatest moments and deepest connections exist outside of your comfort zone. We've got two big goals this year. First, bring you the best and most consistent Yes Theory content we've ever made. And second, grow our YouTube channel to 10 million subscribers by the end of 2021. So if you enjoy what you see here, then please take a second right now to subscribe to Yes Theory and help us get closer to our goal. We've got a massive plan for the 10 million celebration, so let the journey begin with episode 1 of our incredible year ahead. Iraq has, for my entire life, only been a synonym of one thing.
American and coalition forces are in the early stages to disarm Iraq.
It is now a full-scale invasion.
We didn't find any weapons of mass destruction.
The militant surge continues.
Men took to the streets with every weapon they could find.
The U.S. is continuing the war against ISIS.
Yet recently, as I've grown more curious about world history, I connected two dots that I'd never connected before. That the Mesopotamia that I studied in history class as a kid, considered one of the most ancient civilizations and in fact often referred to as the birthplace of modern civilization, was in fact located in what today is Iraq. But unfortunately, Iraq's highly complicated history has made most of the world forget that. And sadly, a large portion of the country's historical places haven't survived the countless wars the nation has been subjected to over centuries. But there are a few hidden places and ancient traditions in Iraq still standing today. Notably, the Yazidi religion. Hidden in the mountains of northern Iraq, they are considered one of the oldest religions, likely originating all the way back 7,000 years ago. Some of the oldest Christian churches in the world still stand in Iraq, and the brave local population still living there are said to be incredibly welcoming and generous. To go on a trip like this, you need an experienced team. The person who first suggested this trip to me was Drew Binsky, a travel storyteller who's been documenting stories from every corner of the world for the past 10 years.
I'm getting cultured here in Equatorial Guinea.
Exactly.
Then, Lexi Limitless, who is in fact the youngest person to have traveled to every country in the world and is coming back to explore more of Iraq with us. Then, Corey Martin, who captures some of the best cinematic travel content and also directed the Iceman documentary we helped produce last year. And last but not least, our wonderful local friend and guide for this trip, Badr Khan. Badr Khan was born and raised in Iraq and is on a mission to show his country that you can travel even with the worst passport in the world. He's already been to more than 70 countries, even though getting visas anywhere with an Iraqi citizenship is very difficult. Although the earliest memory from his childhood is living in a refugee camp, he's one of the most positive and goofy people I've ever met, and I cannot wait for you to see that. I got the Iraq stamp in my passport.
The custom guys were like, YouTuber.
For the first time in our lives, entering the country of Iraq.
Wait, you made it. Welcome to Iraq, bro.
Hey, bro, welcome. Right to rise.
Welcome to...
Put your heads down.
Wait. So this is Badr Khan. When I was here a year and a half ago, he showed me around. He has the world's greatest laugh.
Round and around and around we go.
Since Badr Khan doesn't live in the city, he had asked on his Instagram if someone would be open to hosting some strangers over for dinner. And when Angie answered, little did she know that she'd be hosting her favorite creators at her house.
Is that you? Yeah, what's up?
Oh, what's up?
What's up, man?
What's up? Hey,
What's your name?
What's up? Oh, you guys real?
Yeah.
What about me?
Hello. Hello, welcome. Thank you.
How's it going?
What's your name?
Angie. Nice to meet you, Thomas.
Yeah.
Yes, theories in Erbil. That sentence doesn't make any sense.
Really?
Welcome. Settle everything in.
Okay, good. Here, take all the time you need.
Every meet and greet, like your phone number in USA, everything is just like, I'm never gonna meet these guys.
Well.
Like impossible. And like right now you're here in our house. That's so weird.
This lady, she cooked all day for us.
Clap it up! Clap it up!
Where are we going, man?
Excuse me? Which trip you wanna go? Mars, Moon? I'm laughing because of Badr Khan's laughing. Tomorrow we're gonna leave Erbil. I feel sorry for the editor guy. Editing like, keep listening to this bullshit. Cutting. I suggest you guys to sleep when you go back to your countries. Like, use all our energy here, or we can sleep when we die. Yeah.
At this point, you're probably wondering how dangerous is a trip like this. And the truth is that in a country like Iraq, things can happen at any moment. Northern Iraq, although relatively stable, still sees weekly attacks from various militia groups from the region. They fought a gruesome war against ISIS and just recently fought them off, with many refugee camps still existing in the area. However, it is not as dangerous as the rest of Iraq. You see, in 1991, the northern part of Iraq, also called Iraqi Kurdistan, has been a semi-autonomous region with its own border rules. Technically, the Kurds are the largest ethnic group in the world without their own independent country. The other half of Iraq, however, is almost impossible to get into and is much more dangerous. Our plan was therefore to do a week-long loop around the northern part of the country in the search of this region's hidden history. And tomorrow, on our first day, we are going to have to get dangerously close to the border to try to get access to the most ancient Christian Orthodox church in the world. And little did we know, that would be much riskier than we thought.
First time seeing Iraq in the daylight.
Oh my God, we're gonna go deep in Kurdistan. Like we're not.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, we are. So lots to learn and lots to see. Badr Khan, how do you feel about it?
I feel good.
Where are we going?
So good. Damn, so good. We will leave the last Kurdish checkpoint, Peshmerga checkpoint. We'll go an area which is kind of buffer zone between Peshmerga and Iraqi military. Hopefully they will let us leave the last checkpoint because
Mosul's right there and we're going like almost to it and then we're turning off to the right. It's right there. At checkpoints, Thomas, don't film. Don't film like obvious. That's like a reason for them to not let us pass.
Oh, they're playing soccer down there.
Is there another way?
Yeah, we should go back this way. This is Iraqi checkpoint. Oh my goodness. الله يساعدهم. كنا بدنا نروح على مرمتي بالضبط عبارة على هاي، فهسه راح نلوف. أصدقائي بالسليمانية. نعم. كنا بدنا نروح على مرمتي، دير زيارة. عاشيلك. تعبناكم حبيبي، تسلم. Oh my goodness. This is the Iraqi checkpoint.
We're technically in Iraq right now.
Yeah.
We had to Iraq just now. Like we were in, we could have kept driving in. We were in Iraq.
Google Maps took us on a wrong turn and like literally just checked.
I don't know.
Filled with military. Were you worried?
Yeah, because of you, for me it's fine. But for you guys, they will take you to the court and like jail and long process because you got into Iraq illegally.
My heart dropped when he was like, yeah, that was the Iraqi.
Yeah, that was a lot.
We passed the border, right?
Yeah.
The checkpoint.
We're back.
The safe heaven. Very good.
And then we're gonna take another road and end up in the buffer zone again.
Yeah, it's a buffer zone.
The Kurdish drum. Yeah, maybe you should hold the steering wheel. You know? After successfully treading close to the Iraqi border, we finally made it to Marmatai. Built in 363, it's recognized as one of the oldest Christian monasteries still standing in the world today. Most ancient places like this have been destroyed over the years, but there's a few, and this one in particular is still standing. It is the oldest Orthodox Christian monastery in the entire world. Survived countless wars and more recently attacks from ISIS, who tried to enter these small Christian villages down in the valley.
You know, minority always live in fear, so they try to protect themselves. It's so hard to be a minority in the Middle East. A lot of massacres over centuries, but they survived, imagine. This is telling the story.
Wow.
So some people think about Christianity that it's born somewhere else, but it's born here in the Middle East.
When was this founded?
In the 4th century.
Wow.
Imagine.
There's very, very few people here walking around, and naturally it's because it's protected. But also, I mean, how many people make it all the way to this part of Iraq? Although I felt like we had seen nothing but the beauty and openness of the Iraqi people, on the drive we also couldn't help but see some scars from wars past and present. So I wanted to get a better understanding of the situation here from someone who's been living through it. What's the first memory you have?
For me and for a lot of people who were born here, my first childhood memory on the border, we flee from Saddam regime troops to the Iranian border. I was just 4 years old kid, and we were scared that when Saddam Hussein regime troops get in, they will massacre everyone.
So your first memory was basically in like a refugee camp?
On a border. And I'm very thankful for what I saw, what I experienced.
How long were you there for?
It was a couple weeks. But it was very hard because there was not enough food. That was just the beginning of more wars. Saddam against the Kurds war, and also again the international community against Saddam, and later on Iraq war, and we continue with Al-Qaeda and then ISIS. So we adapted all these struggles and we made fun of it. In order to live and build our country and be better version of ourselves, we made fun of and made a lot of jokes about our situation.
Is that why you laugh so much?
Yeah, that's why I keep laughing. When you give energy, you will get it back. So if you keep laughing, believe me, you will get a lot of laughters. Yeah.
I love that.
When I talk about it, I get a little bit emotional because we should make sure that our next generation will not face the same thing. So in 1991, we kicked out Saddam regime from Kurdistan. Since 1991, we are ruling ourselves by ourselves. We have our own president, our own parliament.
So when you guys overthrew like the Saddam regime, these kind of prisons and everything became abandoned?
So at the beginning, people used it as a shelter because of the war, and later on became a kind of refugee place for displaced people. So some of them turned into museums, so we will not forget what happened.
So this is one of Saddam Hussein's abandoned prisons?
Yes. Like even now I get what you call goosebumps because of what we went through. The Iraqi flag on the wall,
yeah,
and some other things written in Arabic praising the regime, Saddam regime, back in time.
Is it weird for you to be in here?
Yeah, it's very weird.
A lot of people lost their lives in here, and it's a very emotional place to walk around for Barajan.
When I think of a prison, I think of people like in a cell, like being fed and stuff, but they can't like leave. When you think of prison, is it like they're being tortured and killed?
Yeah, torturing and killing.
Wow. So they came here to be killed?
Yes. Or maybe if they were lucky enough, they could get out, but after getting horrific trauma. But it's so hard, yeah, to be here also.
Wow, man.
Whoa. These are bullet holes.
Pretty crazy walking around here, especially because when you're in the city and you're with people like Barakan, you can forget about all of the really intense history that happened really not so long ago.
How do you feel being in here?
I don't feel good actually, because it's so hard to see like your relatives, your people got killed here or got tortured. But also on the same time, it's good to be here, to see, to not forget what happened, and make sure to work hard to not repeat it again for next generations. Life is beautiful.
You said that you're happy that it happened. Is there a part of you that's sad when you think about your childhood?
I get emotional and I ask myself, should I start crying? And they said, oh, no time to cry, let me continue, you know? For being a kid, seeing a lot of hate and racism, it's really hard. Like we introduced to hate and racism before even knew what does it mean. Like later I figured out, oh, there's a word for racism, there's a word for hate. When I travel, people told me like, why you want to go back to Iraq? Why you gonna go back to Kurdistan? It's war zone. It's unstable area, but believe me, we born here and we will die here. If we don't be part of changing the society, changing our country, and develop it and construct it to a better thing, then who would do it? We bring like random people to fix things? No, it's not about just surviving. It's about education, it's about progression, it's about becoming better version, building. So I'm so happy that our people are adapting all these things and going through stronger. You know, like when someone tried to push you, you stand up stronger. We shouldn't just wait for a miracle to happen. People are the miracle. Right. People are doing those things. Changing one mentality, changing one stereotype, slowly, the circle will grow more and more and more. And later on, people will not call me a terrorist, they will call me a tourist.
I love that. We're on our way to go see the Citadel in the center of Erbil, and it's Friday, which is the local day off, and we've been completely stuck in traffic for the past 30 minutes. So now we're gonna have to walk to the Citadel. I think most people, when they think about Iraq, they just think of war and of ISIS and conflict, but the truth is, this is where civilization started, and this citadel is the testament of that. And it's also fascinating the fact that they've
preserved it and been able to sustain it, and the fact that there's still a family living here 6,000 years after it was estimated that the citadel was built. All right, let's go catch up with the group. Are people usually allowed in here?
No. So even if it was not a pandemic or even if it was not closed down, no one is allowed to get in here.
Before we continue with this video, I just want to mention that the only way these videos are possible to make is through your support in our clothing brand, Seek Discomfort. It allows us to support causes that we believe in, from a school in Afghanistan to superhuman feats in Antarctica. There are plenty of incredible designs out now, so if you want to support us and see more videos like this one, then go to seekdiscomfort.com. Now back to Iraq. On our third day in Iraq, we drove to the city of Duhok to explore the local markets and try some, let's just say, interesting cuisine.
This city is so safe. They literally leave $100 bills just behind a glass shelf on the street, everywhere. This is crazy.
Wild. We are exploring and discovering markets here in Duhok. The best part about walking around here is the incredible smells from all of the spices and the tea. Whoa, I've never tasted anything like this. What is this?
Magic drink.
It's not every day that you get a flavor that you've never even gone close to tasting before.
One thing that the guys probably haven't noticed since we've been walking around this market is that it is probably 90% all men in these markets, on the street. It's very rare to see women. If there are women, there's a lot of them with their families, with children. And it just shows that, like, while we're traveling, especially solo, the experience can be very different for a solo female traveler in this region of the world than it is for a man.
I feel so unattentive for not having noticed that.
Now we are heading to get some traditional lunch.
Let's go check it out and see what strange foods Kurdistan have to offer.
Dude, what is that?
Why is it dripping? Oh.
It's not balls. Really? If that's balls, then that's good. Like, let's have some more testes, man.
You have to have that piece.
There's many jokes I can make right now, but we'll save them after.
Oh, dude. Oh. Cheers. Everyone's watching. Huh. Pretty good. Oh, there it is. There's the balls. I'm not a fan of that.
I don't mind.
I'm not a fan of that.
Round two?
Yeah, you have a lot of options. A lot.
Well, we're buying some clothes for the wedding that we're going to tonight.
We're going to a wedding?
Yeah, Kurdish wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I try this blue?
Yeah.
I've never seen the female Kurdish clothing before, but if it looks half as good as Batarkhan's clothes does, it's gonna be pretty great.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
We are on our way ready to crash a Kurdish wedding. I don't know what's happening. I don't know whose wedding it is. I don't know where it is. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but we're crashing a Kurdish wedding. Well, we crashed the Kurdish wedding. At least we didn't put these outfits on for nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Woo! Yeah, good. That's exactly the kind of moment we want.
To end our trip, we decided to visit the 4,000-year-old city of Lalish, the holiest city and home to the ancient Yazidi religion. Although there's only about 1 million Yazidis in the world, we had heard of a Yes fam member who was a Yazidi and decided to surprise him with a call.
What's up, bro?
Oh my gosh, Thomas! I'm doing very well. Can I take a screenshot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he saw the stories on Instagram. You have even fans in Lalish, imagine.
I mean, it's unbelievable for me to think that there's people that watch Yes Theory in Kurdistan, in Iraq.
So we have to remove our shoes because we are entering the holy place for the Yazidis. You have long trousers?
Yeah. I haven't worn pants in like months.
I haven't worn anything but pants this entire trip.
Thomas!
Oh
my gosh. Is that you?
Yeah.
What made you to come here? I can't believe it that one day you would be here in Kurdistan. I can't believe it. I'll seek discomfort. Live seek discomfort.
How's your English so good?
Just from Yes Theory videos and movies.
Oh, that's great. What's your name?
My name is Zaim.
Zaim?
Yes fam all the way out in Lalish.
Yeah. You want to take us around? Should we go around?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you for taking us around. This is so great. Oh my god. You can only be born into the Yazidi religion, right?
Yes, there is no like entering to the Yazidi religion and there's no going outside. It's actually like a grave for the religious guy that I talked about, Sheikh Hadi. Each color belongs to a tribe of Yazidis. He's hoping that all your wishes come true, and he's kind of praying for you. People, they hope to get married and they don't find the right girl. This guy's praying for you to find the right girl. What's your name?
Corey.
Corey.
As I told you, we think as Yazidis, we think that the first place which got created after the Big Bang was Lalish. And this is the main gate in Lalish. We Yazidis are living peacefully with our Muslim brothers and there's no problems. Actually, all of my friends are Muslims. All of my best friends are Muslim.
Are you worried that the religion is slowly phasing out because you have to be born Yazidi?
Actually, all of the Yazidis are worried about this, especially when ISIS came. They killed thousands of Yazidis because Yazidis were their target because they were from minorities and a different religion.
How many years ago did ISIS come?
In 2014.
So 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Very recent.
Very recent.
So you can say everybody has family and friends that were affected?
Everyone. Even when ISIS came, I was affected by them. I left my school, I left my house, I left so many things. We went to the Turkish border, Zaho, we stayed there for 2 months, and after ISIS was beaten by Peshmerga, we went back. I left my school, I left my dreams behind. I remember this. I was in school, okay, listening to the teacher, and the strike bombs of the strike, the shock waves. Like my desk was shaking, my window was shaking, and we got used to it. There are people who are still not in their houses, they are staying in camps until now.
And what's the situation right now?
The ISIS is gone, and most of the Yazidis are returning back to their houses. But the Sinjar city, because it's very destroyed, people cannot go back. Because their houses, there's no house. If he goes back, there's just a flat earth. And we've gone through a lot, man.
Yeah.
So from this story, you will figure out that people of the Middle East, we suffer from terrorism more than anyone else around the world. So don't stereotype us with terrorists. So no matter if we are Yazidi, Muslim or Jewish, we all pray for the same God.
Mashallah.
Peace.
So when I came up to ask this woman for a photo, she invited us to try some of the food that she just made. So she's going and getting it right now.
If you want more, she can bring more food if you want.
Oh, this is going to be a lot. Thank you.
Where do you live?
Live in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Yes, alright.
Welcome.
رغم الفرمانات اللي اجت على راسنا نحب شعبنا وبلدنا وباقي البلدان. نرحب بكم جيتكم.
He's saying that you're very welcomed here.
أمريكا إلى هنا.
From America to here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm waiting. We are waiting for him to sing for us.
He's gonna sing.
Yeah, he's got a very great voice. He's gonna sing for us. Yeah. Great.
هاركوي فرا بلا بكا چابا بلا ويرا ما تش نفسا خوب كانوا مي مالي دنيا چرخا روج بروج تقريت دنيا خونا روجال تناي أريتني عقلي تني شاري.
He's saying that give what you have to other people because there is heaven and hell waiting for you, and at the end you're gonna go there. So just give what you have, the money, all the things that you have. Give.
I'm not gonna hold me.
For making this happen.
Thank you, man.
I'm gonna miss you, man.
I'm gonna miss you too.
It's just a sign of Yazidis. We respect
my
this.
God.
So I brought it for you. Peacock. Yeah. So I actually brought this for you.
Wow.
I forgot.
Thank you.
Take it to the Yes house, please.
I will. Okay. See you. Well, we are rolling into one of the more scenic parts of the trip so far, and honestly one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen. This is absolutely gorgeous.
When you think of northern Iraq, I mean, nobody really thinks about beautiful nature and mountains and waterfalls and rivers, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Get ready to enter one of the most beautiful places. We call the Lost Eden.
We welcome our beloved tourists, it says on the sign.
Beautiful, man. Like, who would have known that this exists here?
Right now we're like higher up in the mountains and it's actually cold, and this water looks incredibly cold. All right, Wim, time for me to prove that I learned something. Oh, it's cold. Yo. The water is so pristine though. This is absolutely gorgeous. I was not expecting to find this in northern Iraq. As our time in Iraq came to an end, as this trip happened before Afghanistan, I realized that this was the first country I've ever traveled to that ended up being completely different from the stories I'd always been told. Yes, there is war, but in the news, that's the full picture. Rarely do they talk about the generosity of the people, the inherent kindness and the depth in the culture. Once again, I gained a whole new perspective of what travel can truly do to one's perspective of the world. Some trips are for joy. Some are just for pure adventure, and others, like this one, challenge our ideas of what the world and its people are like. Spending time with Badr Khan, who's roughly the same age as me but grew up in a completely different circumstance, taught me that the greatest power we have as humans and the path to reaching our full potential as a species is through empathy for each other and staying open to those who may at first seem different from us.
We are different from outside but similar from inside. We share more things together than things which make us apart. Nowadays, politicians, they just spread hate to divide us in order to rule us easily. But if people of the world, they just come closer to each other, then they will realize how ignorant we were before sitting next to each other. People think that Middle Eastern people hate Americans. No. We don't hate Americans, we are humans. We just don't like politicians, no matter if they are American, if they are French, if they are Kurds, if they are Arabs, or Iraqis, or anyone. Every year, you check on the internet, they show Iraqi passport, the worst passport in the world. They just brainwash us so that we cannot leave the imaginary walls which they built. But believe me, it's not like this. We can travel outside. So far, I have been to 75 countries with Iraqi passport. And believe me, we can double it. But it's not about numbers. It's about experiencing new things.
What do you think Iraq needs today to heal? Like, what do you think that needs?
Love. Because with love, we can change everything to a better version. If we change the mentality about how international community look at us, then they will understand we are real people. Don't judge us. Come visit us and then have conversation with us, have tea with us. Nowadays we have Islamophobia in the world. There is 2 billion people following these beliefs. We get judged because of our religion. Before they knew who's Badr Khan, before they knew who's these Muslim people, they judge us directly. Oh, he's a Muslim, so he should be a terrorist. Believe me, we suffer from terrorism more than anyone else. Check the statistics, how you pronounce it? Statistics, yeah? You see where the biggest terrorism attacks happening. It's happening here. Our people are dying. So we are not the terrorist people. We are just human, just like you and I. But I'm really happy nowadays. We get a lot of positive messages from all people from around the world, from different ethnicity, different race, people showing love, and this is give us more energy to continue and to never give up and never look back. We might walk slow, but we will never stop. Oh man! High 10, we need high 10. Here we go.